Hey creative minds and business enthusiasts, welcome to Looks Like We Made It. I'm Issy, head of production here at Howl Media and one half of our father-daughter duo alongside my dad Chris, our managing director. Together, well, we're not together for this one because Chris is not here once again. We're diving into the world of video marketing, content creation and all things creative. Each episode we share real stories, expert tips and the odd laugh along the way. This week we're answering the question, how do I authentically reinvent myself? And to help us answer that question, we're joined by the brilliant Aoife Forbes from Forbes Finishings. Let's go. Hello, Aoife.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm very, very good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, it's lovely having you on here. I feel like I meet people through networking, through doing stuff in the local area, and we've crossed paths a few times, and I love just getting you in the hot seat so I can grill you. But yeah, and thank you so much for coming on. So really, to get us started, you have quite the story. Quite a few stories.
Loads of stories, yeah.
There's many that I need to find a way of digging into all of them. But before we get into it, tell us a little bit about you, about what you're doing currently, and sort of what these wonderful things are on the table as well.
Yeah, well, my name is Aoife, weird Irish name, Forbes. I was Riley, now I'm Forbes. And I'm from just south of Dublin. I worked in PR. Well, I went to university and did history of art, which was just what I loved doing. I just loved it. And I thought, well, I don't know what I want to do as a job, so I'll just do what I love for a few years. And loved life in university in Dublin. Worked in Dublin for a while. Everyone that I asked that I admired and looked up to said, you should work in PR. You'd be really good at PR. You should do PR. I said, I don't really know what it is, but I'll give it a go. And at that stage, there was no, university courses really. It was very unusual to study it. You just kind of just did it and learned on the ground, which is what I did. And then I moved over here to Newcastle and I live in Whitley Bay now.
That's amazing. And then so the whole premise of this podcast episode about reinventing yourself, you have been through that process. You've changed directions, you've seen all the things along the way. Mm-hmm. And Forbes Finishings, tell me about that. Like what is that? and again, I'm eyeing up these wonderful props. To anyone who's listening, there is a couple of beautifully wrapped presents which are empty. I didn't give them a shake.
I walk around with empty presents all the time. Yeah.
But yeah, tell me about Forbes Finishings. How did that come about, and what is it, and really what do you do?
Well, as I say, I worked in PR for 25 years. And about 18 months ago, I've decided to take a break. Just life was tricky, life was messy, and I just thought the best thing it's like when you're tidying your house, the best thing to do is just stop, take it all out, sit back, have a think, and start again almost, which is exactly what I did. Love that. So I just stopped. Everything came off LinkedIn, Facebook, not Instagram because that's my happy place, just pretty pictures, and just spent some time at home and with my kids and just had a really long think. And I knew I didn't want to go back to office life. I wanted to change. That's what I've been doing for a very long time. I knew what I didn't want to do, but I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. So I went through phases of, I wanted to be a joiner for about a week until I realised I'm not very strong. But I just knew I wanted to work with my hands. I just had this thing about working with my hands and being creative. I thought about being an interior designer then for a couple of months, and I looked into that and I met a couple of them who were lovely and talking about how they go about their jobs, and I thought about that a lot and nearly went down that road, but I was still not sure. It just didn't seem totally me. Just because I loved it doesn't mean I was going to be able to do it very well, I thought. And then I went to lunch with some friends literally this time last year, and I had no idea what I was going to do. My friend's birthday's just passed again this year, so it's a good milestone. And I was like, I just don't know what I want to do. And my friend said, well, what's your dream job? What is your actual dream job? I thought, you know what, my dream job would be driving around in a customised ice cream van, like Make It Beautiful, and just wrapping presents all day, just gift wrapping all day.
That is amazing.
Just do that. I was like, yeah, imagine, that would be amazing. And then I kind of thought about it more and more. And I really looked at all the things I'm good at I looked for the opportunities in the Northeast. I couldn't find any of the gift wrappers north of Barnard Castle. I couldn't find anyone else in the Northeast doing anything like that at all, which I thought, well, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe they tried and it didn't work, or maybe it just hasn't been done yet here. I went on a professional gift wrapping course. There is such thing.
Yeah, because I mean, we someone that we've worked with in the past, Louise Lewis.
Yeah,
she's the only other gift wrapper that I've met and engaged with, and I think and it's what her mantra basically. And when we started working with her, I remember thinking, there can't be much to this, but it's amazing. It's a treasure trove. But yes, carry on.
Well, I thought I was quite good at gift wrapping. Like everyone would always ask me to wrap their presents and stuff because I just loved it. And then I went on this course and I went, whoa, I didn't know half of it. It's even better than I thought. I love it so much. And I did this course with a lady called Jane Means, who's kind of the Mary Berry of gift wrapping. She's the kind of icon of gift wrapping. She presents a talent show in America and everything. It's just huge.
That's amazing.
And I just thought, I absolutely love this so much. And then matched that to the gap in the market and how I could work flexibly, which is really important to me. Not just because I'm a mum, for me, not just for school runs. I wanted to be able to be flexible. And I wanted to do something that I was really proud of and I was really heartfelt. It was something I could say with real conviction. And then my friend of mine called Sarah Rad does amazing workshops and journaling sessions for people who have their own creative businesses, and I get her newsletters all the time. And this newsletter in particular said, you can just start now. Just do it. Just start now. You don't need a website. You don't need that. You just need what you're good at. I thought, right. Yep, she's right. She's always right. I can do it. So I just started telling people I'm a gift wrapper. And just started doing it. So my Instagram, I never really used to post on Instagram. I just started putting pictures of nice things and ribbons and pretty things and just testing it out, and I went from there really. And so on the last day in September last year, I officially became a business.
That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, well, congratulations. And what a journey. I think, and that's the thing about, like, I love the concept of, I mean, you remembered the word. I was trying to remember what we were going to talk about, and you said about reinvention. And I see, I mean, I think throughout life we go through different stages of reinvention, and it often requires some kind of hit some kind of floor to bounce back up, or hit some kind of wall to bounce back into wherever we're doing. And I mean, I found that when I had my daughter, who's 2 now, and that whole sort of postpartum period, all of that stuff is just like, it really does change how you think and change your brain.
Because you have changed.
Yeah, you do fundamentally change.
And you can't imagine what it's going to be like.
Yeah. And
no matter what you do or listen to.
And I think that's it. It's like the power of reinvention. And I think that, I mean, we talk about it on a business footing and a marketing footing, but personally as well, reinventing yourself is such a huge thing to go through. And
it's scary.
Yeah.
When I wrote my first LinkedIn post, because I knew I had to be on LinkedIn, and I really like it anyway, I had to lie down. I felt really shaky, dizzy, and I had to actually just lie down, sit still for a minute, and just go, whoa, it really, and I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
But that was a big thing to say. You know, I remember all the stuff I used to do. Well, I'm not going to do any of that again, apart from my own press releases. And I'm going to do something totally different that no one else does. So yeah, it was scary, but exciting at the same time.
Totally. And I think that's, and to go from PR to something so different. Like, I mean, I'm trying to find the link here, but there isn't really one. Really, I don't think at all.
I just love it.
Yeah.
Literally just love wrapping
and
presents.
I think, and you know what? I think in terms of a product or a service as well, it's only like joyous things that you're working with. Your presents bring happiness, so being able to provide that as a service is amazing. So I think that in itself is lovely. So in terms of that process of reinventing yourself, in terms of seeing, sort of going away and stepping back from everything, stepping back from that busy, loud world, and actually just thinking, right, okay, now's the time for me to come back. What was it how did you feel, or what was the thing that made you go, right, okay, now's the moment, now I'm going to share it right now?
I think it was a mixture of not hitting rock bottom, that's not as serious as it was, but I really wasn't in a great place. I was very low, things were not going well. I think you have to get really bad to start again. I think if you're kind of okay, and you go, I can get through this job, or I can get through this situation at home, or whatever, you just keep going, which I have done for years. Because nothing is ever perfect. Nothing ever kind of goes all the same. I think you have to get to a situation where you've no choice but just stop. And my body was saying stop. I was crying all the time. I had pains in my tummy. It wasn't fun. And I don't think I had much of a choice, to be honest. I really wasn't happy. And luckily for me, I've got an amazing husband who just said, look, you just need to take some time. But after a while, a lot of telly, a lot of magazines, a lot of nice treats, and I really did what I really went for, I didn't
self-care.
I really did do that. And then I was like, okay, now I'm bored. What am I going to do now? I didn't want to go back to office life, like I said, so and I've kind of dabbled in my own business before, and I thought, yeah, maybe this is something I can go for, and if it doesn't work, well, not the end of the world.
I love that. And I think, and particularly deciding to reappear, if you will, like reinvent yourself and reappear. What was that process like? You obviously then did your post, had a lie down, bless you, and thought, right, okay, that was it, and you've done that. And that is a big step, and it is a big step for a lot of people to be able to stand up and say, hey, this is what I do, particularly after such a long career in a particular industry. What happened after that then? So you got back up after having your lie down. What happened then?
I got a really lovely response from people from years ago that I used to work with, and lots of people from school who were like, of course that's the job you should have done. Of course you should be doing gift wrapping. Of course you should be doing something creative, because they knew me, back then, kind of thing. And a lot of people have gone, well, yeah, of course you should be, yes. Really, I mean, unless one person laughed, apart from that, it's been really positive. I think people are, really supportive. The support I've had has been amazing. Brilliant. On LinkedIn, which is real life. People have been really, I think it's a good story. People are curious. And it's something, like you say, joy. It's just a happy thing. And I think there's so much serious stuff, and life can be really tricky. And I think there's nothing wrong with just embracing joy. And Mary Portas talks about the joy economy, that getting your customers just to be happy and giving something lovely, and getting a team building workshop that's around using your hands and using Beano comics to make a present for somebody. That's just fun and lovely, and everyone's smiling. And when I do these workshops, everyone's really, because I do sustainability workshops with corporates and B Corp companies. So the whole idea is that we reuse things and use like ordnance survey maps and Beano and Viz comics and
that's amazing.
Colouring in paper, or just brown paper, and we do like dad jokes on it for Father's Day, that kind of thing. And it's just fun. Yeah. There's nothing deeper, really. But doing things with your hands is officially good for you, which I've learned now. I didn't know before. I just thought I really liked it. There's actually science behind it I didn't appreciate. And everyone chats at the beginning, and then you can see about halfway through their shoulders just drop a bit, and they're just totally engrossed in, and there's silence. And that's my favourite part, when no one's talking. Everyone's totally... getting their Beano comic straight, creased, or a little bow, what ribbon's going to match, this map kind of thing. And I just think, why, if it's an hour or something out of your day, and it shows you something you can do at home then later on, and you can wrap a gift the next time and actually enjoying it rather than going, ugh. Why not? And it's just a nice thing to do, and it doesn't have to be deeper than that, does it? It can just be about fun.
And that's it. We talk a lot on this podcast about, business and being and strategy and big important things. But and what we do really is the sort of bigger professional content and whatever. But actually, there is beauty in just being creative and just being able to just let yourself relax. And I think I recently, I think it was about February, so not recently, this year is going way too fast, but I recently signed up to like a movement group, which was as far away from anything I could possibly ever imagine doing, which was like a mermaid themed women's like dancing group thing. And we literally, and I would show up once a week after work, and we'd be in a room, and Helen, one of the ladies who works at the BIC, was there, and literally we'd be getting these fans covered in material, and we'd be like dancing and moving around. And at one point I was dressed as a pirate, and I'm thinking like I couldn't summarize what I was doing it to anyone, and them going, what, you're an editor, what are you doing that for? But the feeling you get from just being able to just let go and be yourself and be a bit silly and
it might surprise you,
and be creative. And I think that really did help me then, sort of, not necessarily, I didn't sort of show up to edit projects dressed as a pirate, but it did give me that mindset of you know, there is that spark still.
It made you happier.
Yeah.
And if it's just that, full stop, you know, is that such a bad thing? Do we need a huge big strategy? Do we need a huge big reasoning behind it? You know, it's a very simple thing. I have got some strategy in my head, you know, going forward, but that's it. It's just joy, having fun, and hopefully you'll come away from it thinking, oh, I'm so glad my company paid for that girl to come in to do that because that was fun, or I'm so glad I went to that workshop in the hotel, or whatever it is. And it's just
what it's
just
all
nice,
about.
just fun.
Yeah, and I think so in terms of like, I mean, we've all had, I don't think anyone, a bit like how you don't have the same skin that you had 7 years ago, it all regenerates. I think we all go through that process of, there's adolescence, there's matrescence, there's all these different essences that people go through, and people do transform and change and stuff, and particularly like milestone birthdays, things come and go that make us sort of think, right, well, now's my next sort of thing that I'm going to do.
50 next year. That was definitely
and that feels like it. That sort of thing creeps up on you.
Yeah.
And so, what would you say to our listeners or people who are in that process of thinking, do I need to reinvent myself? And what do I do? Where do I even start? I show up online in this way. What happens if I just randomly reappear looking different, or doing something different, or being different? And I think a lot of people, and myself, get that fear of, oh, what will people say?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
I totally get that. Yeah, totally. I don't know. I think I've reinvented my career, but I don't think I've reinvented myself.
I
think I'm still the same girl I was in school, essentially.
Yeah.
I know what you say about the skin and everything, but lots of has happened to me since that, and it's how I've come away with it or dealt with those situations. That's kind of made me a different version, but essentially, I feel anyway, like in school I used to collect Vogue magazines and make paper envelopes. Total loser.
That's amazing.
But I still love that. So a lot of what I used to love, I'm going back to now. I'm going, this is really me actually. So I don't think I'm reinventing myself. I've certainly reinvented my career.
You're like,
but I've gone back to the girl I actually really am, I think. And I think I'm really happy doing this. And I think it just I think it shows a bit, like in my LinkedIn posts, for example, you know, you can spend ages analysing all the data and all the numbers and things. But my posts that work really well, or are, you know, people engage with, are the ones going, hi, so look at this, isn't this cool? Rather than, you know, serious strategy and did you know, and facts and figures, and it's just been me going, hi guys, so this is awesome, right? You know, and just being me really, which is very hard to do if you're working in PR for another organisation or a company, or representing your agency. You've got to kind of be the brand, whereas I suppose now I'm the brand. I'm just doing what I think, and I think you get older, I think I'm kind of cross as well. That I spent so long doing something that mightn't have been that suited to me. And I'm kind of cross now, angry, cross is an Irish thing, angry that I spent so long doing something that really wasn't completely me, but I tried so hard to make it work.
Yeah.
And now stepping away from it, I think maybe you just wasn't supposed to be, you know? And maybe and I just love that kind of idea of just sitting back and thinking, okay, start again, wipe the slate clean, you know, rub it out. And even on LinkedIn, I took all my jobs off my profile, just took everything away, just started again.
Wow.
And I still have lots of people. You know, people know I'm connected to people. They can see I know lots of people in Newcastle, and in the area. But that was a really big thing for me just to go, look, just rub it out. And it doesn't matter. There's no rules. Mr. LinkedIn isn't going to come and fire me. And just start again. Just rub it out and start again.
And how did you know when it was the right time to do that?
I think when I was really miserable, I was so miserable. I was crying.
Oh, bless you.
Crying every day on the metro.
Oh.
Coming home crying, going into work crying.
And you know that's it.
And it wasn't just the position. It was a mixture of loads of things.
Yeah.
Loads of things. And I just thought, I can't do this anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. And did it give you a sense of freedom just to be able to go, actually, I can just delete that. I can just remove
Eventually,
that. I can
yes.
just do that.
At the beginning, no. But I think I'm a big believer in when things go wrong, and if something sad happens in your life or whatever, just to take, say, 2 weeks, for example, and just go for the misery. Really feel sorry for yourself. Lie on the couch. I watched loads of Ryan Gosling films.
Well, that's,
I
will always
lie on this
me
couch and watch Ryan Gosling films for a week, and I felt really sorry for myself. Really, really fed up. But you have to have a deadline on that. You have to go, okay, I've got 2 weeks now to really wallow in this misery. But after that 2 weeks, I'm going to start again. I'm going to think of something else. I'm going to sit down. I went to a cafe probably, or the Lane Museum, which is my kind of happy place, and sit down with a pencil and a bit of paper. Okay, now what are you going to do? But you have to give yourself that time to feel really go for it.
Yeah, I love that.
And wallow in it. But then you can say, okay, you've had that time now. You've done the sad bit. You felt sorry for yourself. Poor you.
Now crack on.
You have to get on with it now. Make it happen.
I think that's brilliant. I think that's it takes me back to, I mean, I don't know if you've seen Gilmore Girls. I don't know if many of our listeners will have, but there's a whole episode about the importance of wallowing. Sit down on a sofa, get that big tub of ice cream, and just give yourself that time.
Have the cry.
And I think it's important because you've got to, there's a catharsis in these things. There's a feeling of losing something in order to open to something else. And I think that, I mean, I found that when I had my daughter, is that nothing prepared me for that impact of whoa, okay, I am a different person. I don't know who I am anymore, because my whole life, my baby at the time really was this business. It was me, my identity was wrapped up in loads of other things, and the fear of, if I drop one plate, then and
you can't drop the other one.
And I can't drop the baby, so I've got to hold on to this one. And I think that what I learned through that process was to be kinder to myself, but also the things that I used to hold on to that I thought were important actually weren't. And I think that is a bit like what you're saying about rubbing it out and being well, no one cares, and actually being able to say, well, who cares? This is who I am. This is what it is. Exactly. And that's, and I think I went from, I think when you're working in quite a busy world, a busy industry, you've got that pressure to have to be constantly pleasing everyone all the time. And I think the process of reinvention, or the process of kind of coming out with something new, if you will, is being able to pick and choose the things that you like, and you don't have to please anyone really,
and
but
that's
yourself.
Really empowering.
Yeah,
I've said yes to lots of things, but it's actually quite exciting saying no.
I love that.
You kind of go no because I don't want to. So I'm not going. It doesn't feel right. I'm just going totally by instinct. If it doesn't feel right, I just don't do it. And if it doesn't feel right halfway through, I leave. I just But I think that comes with age. I think it comes with being around the block a few times, and that's definitely a confidence, I think. But but it's me also being angry with myself for putting up with those things before, or just feeling I had to go through it, or I had to prove myself, or I had to just work harder, work longer.
You want to rewind and go back in time and be like, what are you doing? Just,
God,
hello.
Wake up.
But I think, but then also, how did you find, because I think that for me, I realised that my identity was so wrapped up with my outward facing presence, my presence in the business, and my almost my social media version of me, if you will, was so wrapped up in who I was before that actually I had to kind of cast that off. What would you say to people who are in that process of reevaluating their career, reevaluating what they actually want to do, and in reality maybe I don't want to be in law, maybe I want to be in film, or maybe I want to do this, and actually going, hang on, I really do like gift wrapping, I want to do what Aoife does. What would you say to them when they feel like they can't because the outside world is watching?
Well, it's very easy to say, to ignore them. That's really easy to say. Do what you want, be authentic, be yourself. That's really hard. I found that leaning in on friends who I knew would get it, or who would, encourage me. Knowing people that I used to work with, I'll go back. I've kept up with lots of old colleagues. I'll go back and talk to them about it. I think having connections, having people for the not the right place, but the thing that you need, and knowing who to go to for it is really a good idea. So if you need to make a big decision, you go to your friend who'll just go, come on, yeah, rather than, but what about that? And what about the,
Yeah.
That's what I find anyway. But a lot of thinking, a lot of time, just letting yourself, like I say, writing it out. I know somebody I really admire, Anne English, talks about, the whole visual mapping and visualization, and I just got magazines and cut them up and stuck them on bits of paper. This is what I want my life. I want to be this, and it was all happy. This is
like a mood board,
an old-fashioned scrapbook. Yeah,
love it.
Like killing it out. So happy doing that.
I don't think I've held a Pritt stick in about 20 years, but
and it was just that, right? Really simplistic though. What do you love? I love ribbon. I love paper. If that's shallow, well, fair enough. But that's what I love. I used to collect fancy paper in school. Any other Irish girl from grew up in the 80s will remember that, fancy paper collections. And I still can't use that paper. It's too good.
That is amazing.
Beautiful. So I've always loved it.
And I think that's something that I bet there are a lot of people out there who fall into corporate jobs, who fall into that space of, this is me now, I suppose, because this is what I've done.
Easily. And then you start earning money and you've got bills to pay and you've got kids and you have to. That's what I feel I've got to keep doing this.
Yeah.
But so far, it's okay.
That's amazing.
And, no one's died or anything, and I love it. I was doing a workshop last week, and the girl who invited me to do it was laughing at me because she said my eyes just lit up because I'd remembered a new trick with a ribbon. And she's like, "You love this?" Yes, I really do.
That is amazing. In terms of your online presence, in terms of everything going digital, if you will, you are still very much in the tangible world, in the paper world, in the world of like real life objects you can feel and create and touch, and I think I find in the world of film I'm always providing something that isn't tangible. It's something that, yes, it's creative, yes, it gets me in that zone, but staring at screens all day, I mean, my optician will tell you that my eyes are basically just like pickled onions at this point. Like, I think that the impact of everything going online, going digital, sitting behind screens all day, like what, and the pressure, I think, as well, for people to have to do things that are online, that are electric, that are techie. What I love is how you went back to that. You went something that you loved as a child, and the tangible paper element, like even just, I realized the other day I didn't actually have any paper in the office because I hadn't written down anything for so long. Like, how did that, what's the, I suppose what my question is like, what is the impact of that for you, like to kind of go back a little bit and not just, you could do like AI generated gift wrapping, you could do like online email letters, gifts, and you could do things that are completely digital. How does it feel, not, it's almost kind of dismissing that or kind of rejecting that a little bit?
It's going completely against it.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things I realised about PR. It had to change. I'm so old, I used to put press releases in the post with a stamp.
Love that.
Like, that's how old I am. And that's the part I loved. I loved putting the stamp on the envelope and giving somebody something, or opening something, meeting journalists, having events, talking, the whole personal stuff. I used to not stop talking all day, and I'd rarely use a computer. when I started, we barely had emails when I started. That's like,
how did anyone get anything done?
Well, we just talked. Gave each other bits of paper with words on them, and then the journalist would have to write what was on the bit of paper, and it was all handwritten stuff. And I just loved it. And I think PR, for an example, has changed a lot. Certainly the way it was moving for me in the work I was doing, it was so much more digital, online. I was looking at a laptop all day and hardly talking. Yeah. And that just isn't me at all. So what I'm doing now is going back to basics, and it's amazing when people, because it's so tactile, and what I've started doing now is going around the bag of empty presents to every event I go to now. Yeah.
So if you are watching on, so there is, I don't know if the camera will follow me. There is this here, which is a beautifully wrapped little gift. And if you are listening, it's a stripy, blue and white stripy gift with a lovely, lovely pink bow on the top, which is just nice. And it's nice. That's it's nice.
There's still room for that.
And this is this is a map, but like wrapped beautifully, and it's a bag, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a gift bag.
And that's amazing. And there's Hexham on it.
Yep,
that's amazing.
So my friend is from a village in France. I found an ordnance survey map of where she's from in France and wrapped her birthday presents with it.
Oh, that is amazing. And just being able to hold this.
I think this is it. Something tangible you can hold. I think we all miss that.
Yeah.
I think connection online is all well and good, but it's connection in real life we need.
Yeah.
And whenever I go and meet somebody, I come away going, oh, that was fab. Whenever I send an email or something, I don't get that joy. I don't get that joy, that happiness. When I go to a lot of networking events, talking to people, I come out going, they were cool. I learned that, it really energizes me. Yeah. And I think it's really dangerous not to have that and not to have.
And that's it, because just this bag alone. Like I said, if you can see on here, it is a little map. But like, I'm just literally, this isn't the gift, but I'm there going, ooh, Corbridge, ooh, Hexham. Oh, look, that's near where's my house? Like,
so you're totally engaged already.
Yeah, and I think that in itself, and they're beautiful, and I think that there is a place for the tangible and for the
definitely.
Because I had recently, not recently, I say recently, it was probably a few years ago, I had someone post me a letter which was like saying they liked seeing me in some kind of podcast or on some kind of, I don't know what it was, and they sent me, and they were based, I think it was the Outward Bound Trust, and they sent me a little bar of Kendal mint cake in there, and I remember thinking, right, well, I have to contact them then now. I remembered it, and I thought, ooh, okay. So while I was eating my Kendal mint cake, there I was emailing back going, thank you so much for that, and I will gladly talk to you, and that was an excellent in. So really, like, in terms of what you do and what you're offering, and that experience alone of just looking at that amazing little map is, how can people who are in business, who do want to kind of enhance their services, if you will, is there space for that as well as the digital, do you think?
Well, I'm going to say yes.
Obviously, I queued you up nicely for that.
But I really do believe that.
Yeah.
I think, for example, when I did a workshop last week with the charity, the girl who was my contact at the charity, gave me a couple of sentences about each staff member, and I hand wrote them into cards, thank you cards, and put ribbons on them, and gave them to each person at the workshop. And that in itself is gorgeous. So you can have an email, you can have, I think there's loads of room for it, and I think the more we do it, the better. It kind of cements that connection. You have something tangible you can put on your desk and go, it's really thoughtful. It's just that another way of doing it that really gets to people's personalities. And another thing about the workshops I love, for example, when I do team building ones, I bring things on purpose to get conversations going. And this another thing I love. I love it when there's young people and old people at the workshops, because I don't know if you will remember doilies, paper circles, so I used to colour those in. That's what we did in the 80s before mobile phones. We used to colour in doilies. So half the team will remember them and go, oh yeah, God, I did that too. And the other half will go, what are they? So suddenly you've got people talking in an office, not about work, not about what you're going to do at the weekend, not about their kids. They're talking about different memories. They're talking about, I used to love maps. We used to go on holiday and the big map on the car, and younger people now are like, would you not just use your phone? No. And you get that kind of generation chat. And I'm also finding that a lot of people who don't like making eye contact are loving the workshops, because you can talk. It's like taking a teenager for a drive. You kind of get more chat out of them if you don't look at them and you chat. And I think we're willing to open up sometimes. I know there's a mental health practitioner who has a barber's, and he goes to places of work and gets men to talk because they're having their haircut. Yeah, it's a conduit to getting conversations open. So people will start talking about Beano or Banana Man or whatever it is, because I always bring things that really generate conversation. Brilliant. So you might get someone who's quite quiet saying, "Oh, I love Beano," and they and they don't have to talk either. That's but I love that generation kind of matching, and the chit chat is just about nothing. Yeah, it's about Banana Man and what was his real name kind of thing, rather than Eric. So all of a sudden everyone's chatting, but not necessarily about the normal work.
And that's so important, because I'm looking out the window now. The weather's looking a little bit miserable, but I've just come back from a week in España, which was amazing. But I was quite astonished at how my screen time went down from I think it was 6 to 7 hours a day. I mean, that isn't just me texting or anything. That was me watching stuff, playing stuff for my daughter, sat navs, etc. But like, that went down from nearly 7 hours a day to less than 40 minutes a day. And that time where I didn't have a TV to watch, really, because I didn't want to sit and watch telly in 40-degree heat. I didn't want to go on my phone. The internet wasn't great, so I couldn't go on my phone. And I thought, actually, I've just sat and enjoyed the view for an hour. I've just sat and talked and sat and played cards and did tangible, real things. The impact that's given me to come back today and have these conversations and look at the mountain of work that I've got to do, but not be overwhelmed and actually just be like, oh, okay. Yeah. And I think that process, as you were saying, of being able to step back, of being able to do something with your hands, to be creative, to challenge yourself in a different way, to change your focus, is so important. So really, my question to you is, if someone is sat there right now going, what Aoife is saying is literally me, and I love knitting, I love crocheting, I love doing this, I love gift wrapping, I love doing this, but they think, oh my god, can I make that a business? Is that a business? Is that what will happen? Oh my god, and going all the what ifs. What would you say to them?
I'd say, again, it's easy for me to say, but give it a go, but get a big bit of paper and write down all the pros and the cons and the what am I good at, who do I know who likes knitting, so say it's knitting, who do I know who loves knitting as well, would they be able to tell their friends that I make the best jump, how do I kind of start the ball rolling and get all those dominoes starting to fall. A book I found brilliant was Holly Tucker's book, Do What You Love What You Do. Yeah. And that book was brilliant for me. I really recommend that. And if you don't feel excited and inspired to try your own business, then you're not going to after reading that book. Totally. It's really, really good. And she had a brilliant tip, I thought, that she says to think back to when you were in school and what were your favourite 3 subjects. If that's the person you were then, you're likely to be that person again. And mine was art, business, and public speaking.
Oh well, there you go. I know. You've combined all 3. Yeah, that's amazing.
So I think take time to map it out, to think it through, but use your friends and connections to run ideas by. And so if you like knitting, do you know someone who owns a coffee shop? Would they let you just start knitting Woolly Wednesdays is in my favourite cafe in No Fresh. So they have people who want to knit and they come together. So could you start that off in your local place? Or could you start a knitting group and work that, knit and chat?
Natter.
How can you just start the ball rolling and get a feel for it? You might hate it, so just stop doing it. Or you might go, yeah, this is so me. Okay, how can I develop this? So maybe just I think baby steps. Which is boring because I'm impatient now. I want to just, but baby steps are the way forward.
You've got to start somewhere. And I think, and before, I could literally talk to you for hours. I think I have to stop myself, because this could be like a 3-hour-long episode, because I love chatting to you and finding out more about what you do. It's amazing. I think Because I'm very lucky in the sense that what I do as a not as a hobby, but as a passion, I'm a video editor by trade. I co-run the business. I do a lot of the businessy stuff, a lot of the podcasty things and presentations and training and stuff. But editing really for me is that thing. It's the thing that tickles that little nerd inside my head going, oh, that's what I actually really like to do. And sometimes I will get fatigued in doing what I love to do, and I have a mountain of edits stacking up, and I think, oh my God, I just need to not edit for a bit. But I guess I'm very lucky in the sense that my passion is my job, and I imagine a lot of people out there, their passion is different. So collecting paper and PR are kind of very different things. How do you find now running a business in something that you have normally reserved as a hobby? Because do you sometimes get up and go, I cannot gift wrap today?
I was a bit worried. That was a few kind of people who were more cautious, like, well, it's, you don't want to ruin the thing you love. Well, first, I love lots of other things too.
You don't just gift wrap everything.
It's not the only thing I enjoy doing. There are other things I do as well. And actually, at the moment, because I'm a startup, I'm actually not spending that much time gift wrapping. I'm actually spending a lot more time talking about it and meeting people and telling people and planning what I'm going to do and planning Christmas, planning next year, collaborating. I love collaborating with people, and I find that really exciting. So it's not the only part of it. Yeah, it's the best part of it, the funnest part of it. But for me, there's lots of other parts as well that I enjoy.
That's amazing. So you can kind of, you're not like a Christmas elf gift wrapping 24 hours a day.
No, and I'm trying very hard to make it a business that's going to last during, not just for Christmas, through the year. And that's why I've got these corporate workshops, sustainable workshops, team buildings, because I have all that corporate knowledge, and I want it to be a LinkedIn business more than a Facebook business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally, because you want to connect with other businesses and what you were saying before about that experience that you get as bringing departments or business people together is really really important.
And it's like you're saying about your candle mint cake. I can work with businesses to give people really beautiful gifts that are really personal or thought through from the Northeast, all made here, designed here, created here, but with their wrapping paper branded and then branded ribbon, and a handwritten note with fountain pen. And to me, people are going to, wow, this company chose to give me this. It's really gorgeous, really personal. They could have just done an email with elves dancing on the screen, but they chose to give me something I can open.
Makes you feel like a celebrity, doesn't it?
It's just special. There's just something really. Everyone likes getting a present.
Oh, 100%. I think, I also, because now I'm an adult with a child, I don't get as many presents as my daughter. Father Christmas delivers quite a lot to her, and I also do quite like seeing other people open presents. There is that a little bit like that John Lewis ad, the first Christmas ad they did with the little boy and the present opening. It's just
it's really nice.
Unless it's always going to be a positive, unless someone basically doesn't like the present, which is very rare. I think everyone's a present lover, but I think, well, thank you so much for that. That was really interesting. I feel like I've come away knowing loads, and I love how you've authentically reinvented yourself, and you've come back the other side, and you've come out the other bit, and you're doing all the great stuff and networking, getting yourself out there. It's absolutely brilliant.
So far, so good anyway.
Exactly, and congratulations on your first year as well, because I think that's the hardest bit, and then you got to just keep it going. But where can people find you? How can they get involved? And if there is someone out there listening who wants to chat to you, how do they find you?
LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn a lot, or I've got a website, all the Modcons. I've got a website. I'm on Instagram. All is Forbes, Aoife Forbes on LinkedIn, and then Forbes Finishings on everything else.
That's amazing.
And I think I'm the only one around in this side of Barnett Castle anyway.
That's brilliant. And I think so to wrap up, I need to find a way of getting your platform boot story in here. But I need to find. I've got lots of. Okay. There's so many here that could apply to you, and I will cut this out, so don't worry. Right. Okay. I've
got examples of when I've needed to reinvent myself and how I did it, I guess.
Love it. this question is, okay, so I have my question,
Okay.
which is, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Oh my goodness. Keep the Vogue magazines. They're worth a fortune now.
Yes, that's
all the
amazing.
90s Vogue magazines.
Yes.
And which I still have in my house. I think stick to your instinct. Stick to your instinct. And I think every time I've done that, it's worked out. And I think if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Because, and I know everyone says that, don't they? But also, it's not the end of the world. If one job doesn't work out, or one, holiday isn't great, or something, it's not the end of the world. It's, you can always start again.
Yeah.
And nothing is, concrete. If with a bit of imagination and a bit of thinking, you can turn it around. Don't worry, it'll be grand.
Oh, I love that. And I think, for me, I think it would probably be something like nothing. The line is basically the only two things you have to do in life is be born and die, basically. Everything else in between is a choice. I think for me, what I would tell my 18-year-old self is to just, it's difficult because me at 18, I just moved here. I was terrified, but also figuring out, is probably just to kind of just back yourself, I think is the biggest thing. Like, I used to be such a people pleaser, and I think I still am a little bit, but I think that's that thing of
definitely
getting used to just being able to shed the things that you don't need and just stick and
Yeah.
back yourself, because it will work out. But before I do my outro, tell me your platform boot story. I have to know it. You have to. You mentioned it in your form to me, and I was like, right, okay, that is the one. So go for it.
That's one of my favourite stories. Well, when I was in Dublin, and I graduated from university, I did a degree in history of art, but I did not a clue what I wanted to do. And lots of people who knew me suggested PR. My father was very keen to get me into PR. I thought, well, okay, but I've no experience, nothing. So my dad is a very big influence on me. And I kind of took an idea of his and made it into my own. Anyway, I bought 2 pairs of really horrible plastic platform boots in a really cheap shop in Dublin. And I wrote 4 cover letters. So my maiden name was Riley. So I called my letter The Life of Riley, my CV The Life of Riley. And wrote kind of, hi, I'm brilliant, I'm amazing. I'm really good at this and this. I think you should, hire me because I think I'll be amazing at your company. And I made it really personal to the places I wanted to work in. So I've decided my favourite 4 places in Dublin I wanted to work. So at the very top of the letter, just before people opened it, stuck into the boot, it said, now that I've one foot in the door.
Oh.
And I stuck the letter in the boot and posted it. So 4 boots and 2 job offers.
That's a 50% success rate.
No
I think. That's
experience
amazing.
whatsoever.
So, and then when they got the boot,
I just said, please meet me at least.
and were they like,
yeah,
whoa,
I was offered 2 jobs.
that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, well, that is fantastic. And I think, like, did they mention it? Did they bring it back up again when you? Did they go, what on earth?
They were like, well, it got our attention. So now that I had the foot in the door, I had to, talk and say good stuff.
Oh yeah, because you got to follow up.
But I was really keen to work for these people, so I just was blah 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 blah, and yeah.
That is amazing. Did you take one of the jobs?
I did.
Oh wow! I mean, did
Yeah.
you? Because that's the thing. I was thinking you were going to say that you walked into the job interviews in platform boots and stuff, but did you get the
That
boot
would
back?
be disastrous. If I
I was
did.
gonna say, did you get the boot back?
No, I didn't want them back though. They were pretty horrible. I think they went straight in the bin. I know the person who gave me the job put hers in the bin.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, thank you so much, Aoife. And I'm so glad I found that story out, because that has absolutely made my day. And that's a wrap on this episode of Looks Like We Made It. Thanks for tuning in. Whether you're here just for the video marketing insights, the storytelling magic, or just to hear me and my dad talk shop. Just me today, but hey ho. We drop new episodes every other Tuesday, so hit that follow button and stay tuned for more tips, real life experiences, and behind the scenes stories from the world of content creation. If you want to keep the conversation going, you can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and our website. Just search for Howl Media and say hi. We'd love to hear your thoughts, answer your questions, or even have you on the show just like Aoife. If you've got a great story to share or fancy joining us for a chat just like Aoife, drop us a message. We're always looking for inspiring guests just like Aoife. And until next time, keep creating, keep storytelling, and remember, every great piece of content starts with an idea, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye for now.